Okay, you know that moment where you just got back from being off track or your momentum has been derailed, right? And you're back, but then something comes up again and it feels like you're being at that spot again of being derailed. Well, that's something that I was experiencing today, and I thought I'd come on camera and just practice being my vulnerable self and just speaking from a place of realness, because yeah, I didn't want to come here and be on camera. I didn't want to fix my hair to look decent for this video. I didn't want to do anything. My energy is extremely low today. It's just one of those days, and my husband was like, well, do you have to show up on camera? Or is, and I'm like, no, this is like the best time to show up on camera when I'm not feeling like it, because it's, you can't replace showing up, even if you don't want to, by showing up. Did that even make sense? And so this morning, I've shared with you guys that I have insomnia, and I did not get any sleep until probably close to 8:30 a.m. I went to bed, like I physically crawled into bed at 1:30 because I was feeling tired. Or not tired. There's a difference between sleepy and tired. I was feeling sleepy. So I crawled into bed and I was tossing and turning for 1 hour. That's actually normal for me, to just toss and turn. And hours pass. And when it got to about 6 a.m. or maybe 5 a.m., I started to feel this pain on the left lower side of my abdomen. And it was this familiar pain that I've had 5 months ago. And if you've had kidney stones before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It also radiated towards the back left side. So I'm laying there thinking, okay, this is very familiar. I don't want to go through this. It's worse than childbirth. If you guys ever experience childbirth, then you know exactly the pain. Or if you've experienced having labor pains, it's excruciatingly 10 times worse than that. And it's crazy to say that, because when I had my first episode of kidney stones 5 months ago, I told my husband in the hospital, in the ER room, that it's worse than childbirth. And he's like, oh, nothing's worse than childbirth. I'm like, no, that's what you hear, and that's what I hear all the time. But no, that was a monster. That was a killer. And so I was sitting in bed, or laying in bed, and just feeling anxiety, kind of like low-key panicking that I was going to experience that again, that pain again, and go through that again. And so, of course, naturally, it made me not have a sleep drive at all, because I'm wired and I'm panicking in my head, and I'm anxious that I may have to go to the hospital again, the ER room, if this is actually something that's existing. And I've shared too that I was 2 weeks in a row sick, and I recently just recovered when I started this challenge last week, Thursday. And I'm on a roll with this YouTube challenge for myself. And I'm thinking about going to the hospital and being bedridden and crying in bed and not being able to do these videos. And it's not like these videos are the end of the end of my existence if I don't show up here. Life happens, right? And so instead of me sitting there, and I'm not going to pretend like I have it all figured out, like I'm not in the slightest whatsoever mode of mentally spiraling. Because if I'm being really honest with you guys, I think it's because of the physical pain that I experience that's really making me triggered, that I might potentially go to the ER again. And that's what's making me spiral. It's that mental replay of the pain that I had to endure. And I think that's the reason why I am not out of the woods when it comes to that thought process of, oh my gosh, am I gonna have to stop everything that I'm doing again? And I think that's where my spiraling is going, and it's headed. And I'm not headed, but like that's the potential like area that I'm in right now. But I'm not like 100% there, because I know that I've been through it. I know that at least I know what to expect. Unlike the first time I got kidney stones, I had no idea what to expect. I didn't have any answers. Nobody told me what was happening until they ran some tests, and they're like, oh, okay, we had a feeling it was kidney stones, but they didn't want to tell me it was potentially kidney stones because they needed to do tests first. They needed to find out if it was appendicitis. Maybe I had to go through surgery if that was the case. And so they had to do all these tests, right, before they determine what I had. I just don't want to go through that. But I've practiced, quote unquote, I've had the experience of the feeling. And so this familiar pain that I'm feeling, it's so subtle. I called my Telmed and I explained it to them, and I have an appointment in a couple of days. They have an open spot that I'm so thankful they had an open spot. So I'm gonna go to the doctor in 2 days and I guess see what's up. But so if you're experiencing something like this, like I had a friend who said that she knew someone who always had the short end of the stick. And I felt that way 5 months ago, 6 months ago, 6 months ago, when I lost my mom. We lost my mom in our family. It's the first person in our family we lost, immediate family. So I lost my mom. We were preparing for my daughter's wedding, and it's a destination wedding. She lives back at home, and it was here, and that's an event all in itself. Then I had my kidney stones, and it was the day before her wedding where I went back to the emergency room the second time because the kidney stone did not pass completely, or actually there were 2 kidney stones, so the second one did not pass yet. And at the same time, it was really hard because I went home to the funeral for my mom's funeral, and it was really hard to say bye to my dad because my dad's back at home. And I was also experiencing this pain in my mouth area on the lower gum area, which I found out it was a tooth infection. So I was battling all of that at the same time. I just started a program for my fitness journey, and I have a protocol to follow and macros to follow and hydration and step goals to hit. And it was really hard to do that when you're laying in a hospital bed for hours and in pain with kidney stones, laying in bed, like bedridden, and you have to have your family help you out, right? That whole feeling of, okay, this is what I potentially might have to go through again. That's the debilitating mental state that I put myself in, and it exhausts me mentally, which affects your body as well. So it's affecting my body. I'm already low energy today, so it's making my body even more exhausted. But that's not what I don't want to record myself and just talk about all these negative things. These are just the reality of things and the truth of how I am showing up, how I'm showing up to you guys, and just sharing what's on my mind, what I'm wrestling with, because I know it's relatable. I'm not the only one who feels like they got the short end of the stick, right? And it really sucks because after being sick and in bed for 2 weeks, I just got back to my fitness routines and back to actually hitting my step goals slowly. I was always eating really well during my sickness and hitting my water goals pretty much. But to get back on track with fitness and to be on this challenge for myself with these daily videos, and then to think that I might have to go to the hospital again, right? I feel like it's sometimes just it's one of those things where it's just in your head. It's like in your head, and you're putting yourself through this scenario and you don't even know what's going to happen. But I'm actually following my pain, like this pain that I'm feeling here on the left side. And then it makes my mind go to places that I don't want to be in. And so it makes me be in this stuck place. But I'm reminding myself that I've experienced it. And even if I didn't experience it, so the time I had the kidney stones, I did not experience it that time. So right now I have an advantage. And I know that sounds weird to say, but it is an advantage per se, right? Because I already know what to expect. But the first time I didn't have the experience. I didn't know what to expect. And I still made it to the other side. I got all the support, medical, that I needed. I had the emotional support from my husband. We had insurance, everything. Everything was good. So at the end of all that, I know that even if I was in the middle, like I just started that fitness program. And so being in the hospital bed, trying to meet my macros, and I couldn't work out and I was bedridden. It was not as discouraging as I thought it was going to be. And I believe it's because I knew that when you have kidney stones, you need to make sure that you follow what your body's telling you to do. And that for me was, I mean, I could not even get up and walk normally. I was walking hunched over, and my husband and my daughter, they had to hold me, and my son-in-law had to hold me like I was 70 years old and I couldn't walk because my hip, I needed a hip replacement, and I just got a hip replacement surgery or something. It was horrible. But yeah, so going through all of that, I have the experience and I know what to expect. And it's almost like a two-edged sword, because now that I know what to expect, my mind is going in that direction and it's triggering me to not want to show up as my best self. I don't know how to explain it. It's more of a double-edged sword. Like I know what to expect, but because of that, I'm expecting the worst again. I'm not expecting the other way where I should, or I could be thinking, which is more of, okay, I know what to expect, so these are the things that I should have in place and get those ready. Like those are also part of what I'm thinking that I should do. So I have a electrical heating pad, because that was comforting to put on the kidney stone, which was on this side. Now I'm feeling it on this side, but I have a heating pad. I know where that's at. I know where to access it. I know all the different things that I need if I did have a kidney stone and I'm gonna have to be bedridden. Like I know what kind of food that I'm gonna need to eat. I know what to avoid. I know to drink a lot of water. And yeah, guys, I already said this, but I didn't want to show up today. And it's also too that I don't really know what to say in this video. I guess I just wanted to show up and just talk about it and practice being vulnerable. And let me just take a sip of water. Yeah, when you're about to spiral, it feels like, or when you're in a spiral, it feels like the world is not for you at all. It doesn't feel good. It feels like everything that was normal for you, like you're stuck, like you don't move yourself towards those things. But in your mind, you know, you that's like a normal thing for you to do, but you don't do it. One of the things that I noticed, I know this is kind of off topic, but this is a YouTube challenge for me. And last night I listened to myself on that video, and I haven't listened to my previous videos before that, but I did listen to day 5 when I was in bed and I could not sleep. I was thinking, oh, let me just listen to how I sound and maybe take some mental notes. So I was taking some mental notes, and I noticed I say the word like a lot. So I'm trying not to say the word like a lot or as often, because it's basically a filler word for when I don't know how to translate what I'm saying. And that's why I'm doing this challenge, because I'm trying to learn how to communicate myself more succinctly and more refined, because even if somebody can write a really long paragraph explaining something, the person who can explain it in like one sentence, oh, I just said the word like, whatever, that's fine. Whoever can explain it in 1, 2, or 3 sentences, that is so cool. And I think about, I know this is getting off topic, but this has nothing to do with spiraling. It's just my spaghetti brain. It's this one thought that led to another that has nothing to do with the first. Anyways, yeah, I was just thinking of how this challenge is, this day, this recording, this video is something that I wanted to do, even if I didn't, even if I'm not my best self, because I want to practice talking and I want to be here on camera, even if I'm not my best. And that's because there are so many videos on YouTube and they all seem really good. Like their lives are great. Even if they share vulnerable things, they have really good lighting in their video, really nice aesthetic backgrounds. Or if they don't have those things, they know how to talk very succinct and simple, and they don't have their head all cluttered. That's another thing that makes me spiral, simply speaking, is when I found out I'm an HSP, which stands for highly sensitive person. It means that you pay attention to a lot of details, and so you become more in tune with what's happening around you. And it could be physical, but it's also something that you notice. So physical is like, my husband, he would put his drink, right, his sparkling water, his can down on the glass coffee table. And we have these cork coasters. I don't like hearing the sound of, like, if you have a coaster, just put it on the coaster so I don't have to hear the clank. And so that's a high sensitivity trait. So I have a lot of, by the way, highly sensitive people, there's a spectrum of, you know, like low to high. And when I took these tests, it showed that I'm on the high scale, where there are a lot of things that I notice and I pick up on. So even a piece of hair on my back, I'll tell my husband to remove the hair and he's like, there's nothing, there's nothing. I'll literally find it and I'm like, I told you there was a piece of hair here. Yeah, so I think my high sensitivity, it makes me, because I see a lot of things in detail, it makes me more prone to spiral. And I've also heard that when the older you get, the more easier it is for you to be emotional, or to either be emotional in the soft sense or become harder. So it could be one or the other. I don't have the source for that, but I remember learning that somewhere. And I'm the person that I'm becoming more in tune with my emotions as far as how I really feel. So now when I'm feeling something that's even slightly negative, I find myself spiraling into even deeper negativity. And, you know, I felt really bad about that, because most of my life, people knew me as the positive person. I'm the one that encourages people. My spiritual gift is encouragement. And I would encourage everyone else, but when it comes to me, and I know I'm not a unicorn in this, I know a lot of people, they do this to themselves, right? They talk down on themselves. But the older I get, I find myself, like, once I'm in a negative thought and I don't intentionally find a way to get out of that, I will start to spiral. And that was only very recently. I recently just experienced this about 3 weeks ago. It was the very first time I ever experienced it, where, maybe not very first time, that's ridiculous, of course not, but something very recent, or that was the most recent time that I experienced it, and I felt that I couldn't get out of it. I felt that I was that person who I could not, this was before the whole YouTube challenge, right? So that negative spiral was actually me not finding a way to get out of the mental rut of showing up on YouTube. It was so fear-ridden. There was so much anxiety in me to show up on camera. That's why this challenge for me is a big deal, because who was I 3 weeks ago, and all of a sudden on a Thursday I decide to turn on the camera and record without a script. I am the person that needs a script. When you hear old me from 2019, 2021, when I had a fitness podcast, I was reading a script that I wrote word for word, but I made it sound like I was talking very naturally. Right now, I don't have a script. I'm literally looking at you. I don't have a teleprompt, none of that. I'm talking just with my mouth, with whatever comes out of my head to my mouth. And sometimes when I get lost, it's because my head is spiraling into another thought and I have to catch myself to not think about the other thing because I'm trying to focus and work on talking about one thing and being more focused on that. I really truly admire a lot of people that I watch on YouTube who are so easy when they talk, when they speak, when they communicate. They know how to explain something so easily. And you know, my family, we always have, every now and then we ask each other this question: if you had a superpower, what would you want? And they always tease me, that's not a superpower. But I still beg to differ. I'm like, no, my superpower, if I had a superpower, it would be speaking. And they always say, that's not a superpower. Like, what about, like, you know, for example, flying or whatever? And I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll do. I don't even know what I chose in that world, but in this world, I want the superpower of speaking, because then I will be less likely to have this, not spiral, but I will be better at speaking. As in right now, instead of continually saying like and not sounding confident at what I'm saying, I want to practice being here and showing up because I want to be better at it. There's going to come a point in time where I think that showing up on camera might not be enough. Talking like this might not be enough. I need to actually implement things that communication coaches know about, that I can learn from, that I can apply, that I have to practice and exercise. There has to be a point, right, that I reach where this is not enough, because there are things that I need to look at and evaluate and take an inventory of and apply an exercise to it and get better at it. Anyways, this is not one of those videos where I try to fix something when it comes to, okay, if you're spiraling, then you should do this. But I do want to leave with something, because this video is called a video to watch when you're about to spiral. And that is that, just know that, because for me, after my kidney stones and that experience and losing my mom and having a gum infection and going to the hospital 2 times and many hospital visits in between then, and having a wedding to prepare for, saying goodbye to my dad, traveling abroad, going to the funeral, coming back home, and having all of that happen in, like, I don't know, four weeks or something, that can really make someone spiral and feel like there's nothing good that's going to come of it. But I've learned so much through that. I've learned that I can still do the hard thing. Like, it was really hard to be abroad, leave the comfort and the convenience of my home here in Seattle, fly abroad back to Guam, and try to do my best at eating as best as I can to fit the macros and the hydration levels, get my steps in, get my workout in, because of the program that I invested in to help me get back on track with my fitness and weight loss. To do that all while all of that was happening, I actually still did it and I still lost weight. And that is evidence that I have stacked for me to remind myself that even if I'm going down this place where it's bringing me to feeling like things are dark, things are not going for me, nothing's in favor for me, of me, I have to remind myself that I've done very, very, very hard things in the middle of hard things upon hard things. And because I've done that, I have this evidence now that I can actually do this. So if I'm spiraling right now because of this potential kidney stone, which I really hope and pray, Lord, that I don't have another kidney stone. I hear people have kidney stones like constantly, and I don't want to be one of those people. Please, I drink a lot of water, and I do my best to eat as much as I can, but then, or eat as much good food for my body to fuel myself as I can. But this morning I was looking up different reasons why I could potentially be having a kidney stone, and I think the reason why, if I do have it, it's probably because, and yesterday I mentioned this, one of my favorite things that I've been eating is bone broth, and I eat 3 of that a day. And when you stack it up, there's a lot of sodium in it. That's one of the things that I've been eating, not including turkey bacon, which is processed meat, and that's more sodium. So months of that, of course, someone who has had kidney stones in the past, if they eat like that, the kidney stone's going to come back. So I really hope that I'm not one of those people. Even if I drink a lot of water, I drink 5 of these on average, not including the 3 bone broth, which is 8 ounces each. And I drink another 8 ounces of oat milk because I make myself a hojicha tea. And so that's another 32 ounces of liquid. So I drink a lot of liquids, but because of all those processed things that I'm eating, from chicken nuggets because I don't want to cook and I want some fast protein, to the turkey bacon, to the bone broth, there's a lot of sodium. So that's not stacked for me in a good way. But if I can do all of that, that means that if I can do all of those things, hard things in the middle of hard things, that means that I don't have to, that means that I can know that, see, this is the part where I want the superpower of speaking. Like, I'm trying to explain myself easily. Okay, let me just regroup really quick. Okay. If I know that I went through a really, really hard thing, but I went to the other side of it, and I know that everything was fine at the end, I know that if this happens to me again with the kidney stone, I don't have to sit in the dirty quicksand of spiraling, because this is a part of life, right? Life, you get thrown the short end of the stick. You get thrown the short end of the stick every once in a while. And you have to show up for yourself to know that you can do it. You can get to the other side. You can make yourself get there when you continue to do these hard things and find evidence that you can actually make it. Some videos are going to be so extremely, like, I don't even know why I recorded this video in the first place, but this is one of those videos. And yeah, so that's the end of my video. Even showing up on camera like this is not enough. I need to practice my outros. I need to practice my intros. So much to practice, guys. This is only the 6th video. And yeah, I don't have like the best way to close this video. I just want to practice showing up vulnerably. Like, someone is here with me, a friend of mine, and we're just talking and chatting. I'm going to continue to say ums and actually and like when I have a conversation in real life, just like this. And that's how I want to show up. But I also want to show up in a way where I'm talking to my friend and I don't have to explain something 5 times to them. That means that I'm not a great speaker, and I want to be better at it. I want to get better at communicating. So that's why I'm here again today. This title is not going to do justice, I don't believe, to if someone's experiencing spiraling. So forgive me 100 times if you came here and was expecting something grandiose. And yeah, that's it. That's all I have for now, guys. I will see you on the next video. So yeah, day 6. I'll see you on day 7. What a sucky outro. Sorry, I said that to myself, but it's true. I don't know how to end these things, and I need to practice at it. Okay, see you on the next video, guys. See you again soon. Bye.